CRUISE is the acronym for a project that is a statewide project funded by an NSF, a National Science Foundation award. And our focus is entirely on water quality, but many different aspects of water quality. We work at 3 different places around the state. They're very far apart. One is the Upper Clark Fork, which is just about a mile that direction, or half a mile. One is the Judith River Basin, which is very agricultural. It's in the Golden Triangle or near it. And then finally the Powder River Basin, where the focus is on what happens after some of these coal mines are remediated and movement of some solutes from that remediation into water. So that's CRUISE.
Well, CRUISE gives us new insight. First of all, basically the folks that are out working in the field are developing data that we as engineers and scientists can then use in our areas of endeavor to come up with technologies that might be able to remediate some of the sites that have contamination.
So this is one of the vials, testing vials, that are used to determine copper content in the effluent that we're testing.
As a consequence of CRUISE, developed an entirely new research direction in my group, which is just scientifically so compelling.
This is a river that's driven by snowmelt, which means that we have the early spring, and then as soon as late spring comes and the snowmelt starts to happen, we have this huge flood that goes from the top of the river down. So what we do is we try to do our big fish sampling in the spring and then our small fish sampling in the summer, because that's when the flood goes down. Most of the time I'm on a boat or a kayak and I'm dropping off at one place and going down to the next one and just hoping I get there before the light goes.
If you check back here in a decade, the Upper Clark Fork River will be in much better shape as a result of the integration of the Montana University system and the citizens of the state.
Deployment underway here.
To be able to work with colleagues at the University of Montana, at Montana Tech, at Little Bighorn College, that's really fun, and it elevates the science and the capabilities both from a knowledge standpoint and from a workforce standpoint across the state, and I think that's pretty special in a place like Montana.
Hi, this is Rob Payne. I'm a hydrologist at Montana State University. We are about to do a tracer test in this stream. This is Louse Creek in the Judith River watershed. I'm about to take a couple of buckets of salt water and I'm about to dump that water into this stream. And we'll measure the electrical conductivity of the water, which will go up when the water gets saltier. And that way we'll know how long it takes this salt to get to the downstream end of the reach.
I think that I, in the future, will always be working with people who aren't in the same bubble that I'm in. And so the more that I can figure out how to communicate what I'm working on to a broader range of people, the more helpful it will be for me going forward, no matter what I'm doing.
How important it is to educate the next generation of students. And this is, as a hands-on analysis lab, it's a really great place for students to get their hands on the instruments, learn how to make measurements, crunch the numbers, turn measurements into data, and data with uncertainties, and understanding where all those numbers come from, so that whatever they do in their future life, they are mathematically literate with environmental quality data.
I feel so proud and honored for this funding and that opportunity to work on this in Montana CRUISE project.
For me in particular, this is really career building. You know, I'm not 20 years into my career and establishing relationships in that way. I'm actually at the very beginning of my career, and so this CRUISE opportunity really allows me to work with and establish relationships with other institutions across the state and gain skills that I wouldn't have otherwise, that I'm really excited about going forward in my career.